Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. Oh, let's see, did I start up? Yeah, I did. I was here yakking in the chat room about Bitcoin. I completely forgot about. There's already time to start the webinar. Hang on a moment. Time goes by quickly. Hang on. So Bitcoin got a whack job. So let's go and go to that. That actually hit our target that we discussed on Monday after the debacle. Let's go. That was actually what I was looking at, and I just shared that in the Asian analysis. Then it got there. It said 47,800 or 47,900 when we got there, because I was saying, okay, we're going to take it out by a little bit. We'll definitely go through 50. And at the time, I think I was saying like 49. I thought, they're going to go and want to take that out too. So anyway, nonetheless, we saw a pretty good little fall. So not bad at all. Well, really, I had this level here, so I thought, well, they're going to take it out anyway a little bit. Doesn't mean we won't fall even further, but it's just that you could see all last week. It was actually held up kind of well here, and it really was open to go lower. Obviously, yesterday's sell off in equities kind of spooked it, but it was already spooked, from the weekend. So it really opened the door for us to get down here. So that's where we're at. We hit there. We got there. And I shared the, well, you can check Asian analysis. That was just from last night. We hadn't got there, but we discussed that on Monday. Like, where can this thing go? It's kind of crazy because if you remember, my intermediate target was 64,775, and the high was 64,885. So how do you like them apples? And I kept saying, if it breaks up here, now my spring target, I've been saying since, what was it, January, late January. I was looking for 70,000. That probably sounded like a pipe dream, but we're going to take fall off from it. That was only 5,000 off. And nothing special I was doing. I was just looking at levels and where can this thing push to. Essentially, that was it. But yeah, we did go in and see the equities get whacked pretty hard. Boy, this was something else. Look at the levels. I talked about that 41.67. Speaking of which, that was our bias chart resistance yesterday. And the high on the move initially was 41.66. And then we rolled back down. I think we got down to the bias chart support, remember, was 41.48. We got down to 41.49 and a half. We rallied back, and then, of course, when they rallied back, we actually went up to 41. We went and took those highs out because the high was 41.66, and we got up to 41.67, and the wheels fell off the caboose. So anyway, there's where we were yesterday when we got above. So we actually made that run. That's here on the first run, as it was, and then we did back. It's got to be here. But anyway, I know we the bias chart support yesterday was 41.48. The low was 41.49 and a quarter, 41.49 and a half at the time after hitting 41.66, coming up one handle short of 41.67. Then we came up and we took that out, and everything looked pretty good until the wheels came off. It actually rallied up here to 41.38. But we'll just see what's going to go on and happen here. So you might still make it up to like 41.43, but we shall see. And interestingly, look, we're still falling. Now we're below my 47,900. 47,800. Came out $100 is not going to make a big difference. I'm pretty sure it's 47,800. That had not 47.9 because I thought, okay, I'll take it up by a little bit. But that's after we came here, so we were trading around whatever we're trading. I guess we were trading on Monday at the beginning of the week. I think we'll be trading around 54, 55. So it didn't seem like that much. But anyway, we did get a pretty good fall. And of course, post ECB with the euro. Let's go and take a look what news, economic data that we had. So we did get UK retail sales 2 hours ago. Oh yeah, PMIs today. We had a bunch of European PMIs. So French manufacturing PMI came in at 59, beating out 59 by a bit. German PPI came in at 56, just a hair bit under the 56.8. That's a composite though. Manufacturing came in at 66.4, beating out 65.8, the forecast. Eurozone manufacturing PMI came in at 63.3, above 62. We do get composite PMI out of the UK and manufacturing PMI, of course, as well as services at the bottom of the hour. And in the States, we get manufacturing PMI at 9:45 Eastern, of course, along with composite and services. And we get new home sales. It's just been like, home sales have been going bananas. I should say the asking price. There we go. Yeah, Stelius, that's a better answer for a question for Stelius. Rick was answering here in I like to call it a doggy coin. I always thought it was called doggy coin, but it's Doge coin. I have it at 293, but if people look it up on the web, it shows 0.21. Why is this difference? Both based off the dollar. One moment. And I'm just telling Rick, the perfect person to ask on that is Jane. Jane's the crypto expert around here. I just happen to in fact, Jane is here. I just happen to follow the Bitcoin. That's it. I haven't even traded Bitcoin for a little while, but she's the perfect one to ask. So let's just go on and move into the analysis. Hang on one moment. And we'll move into that. Get into that window. Another thing is my focus is now mainly towards the S&Ps. Those things, let me see. Oh yeah, Jane just said I'm here. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm glad. Hey, Jane's the perfect person to ask when it comes to the cryptocurrencies. I'm switching over to the other one window. Yeah, I'm primarily going to focus on the for my own trading. Of course, I'm going to still track it, the Nasdaq, but the S&Ps, the rotations are just unbelievable. They're just and they just seem to work so well. Whereas the Nasdaq, the the problem with the Nasdaq is that even if you have the level right, sometimes it will shoot right through that level. So that I said that in the chat that you're just like stuck with it. So it's like, well, I mean, it's in that general area, but boy, it sure is way beyond what I would have thought. And whereas I've just been watching the rotations just over the recent days, just in the S&Ps, and man, they're just beautiful. Just like yesterday, like I said, it's not, well, yeah, because it was hitting that, but I'm just saying, a perfect example. Not that it did anything great. I'm just going with what it said, which was, like I said, the bias chart yesterday, the high was for 41.67, and the high we had in the morning was 41.66. Before they rolled back, and then I had the support at 41.48, and the low was 41.49.5. Now, how do you beat that? So that's what I'm saying is, and just yesterday, even when we were going downhill, you could see the rotations. I mean, they're just fantastic as compared to Nasdaq. I picked it up on the way down. I did come out okay, but heck, man, I was drowning like 25 handles on the way down. I might have picked it up a little bit early, but holy smokes, you know what I mean? So then I was stuck in. I mean, I came out okay with it, but why go through all that stuff? And just come in S&Ps, maybe be off a handle, or maybe not a handle, might be the extreme, but 2 handles, 3 handles, and you're a-okay. So anyway, that being said, let's go move into the bias chart. There we go. Let's go move into the euro. Man, this sucker is up. Of course, post ECB, but holy smokes. Because we had run out of gas at this 2073. We dipped down there. Then we posted a little mini hammer on Wednesday. Then yesterday we took a run here, and we actually finished negative. And look, now we're pushing higher. Really knocking people about. Let's go into the analysis, though. The euro post ECB made a run towards 2073 before finishing the day with a negative close. Resistance for the day will be 2044. Well, we're above that, so I'm going to stick with my 2044 with support at 1965. This surprised me. I didn't think we'd be up like this. So, and of course it could be because of the PMIs, but still, I thought we'd be a little bit under pressure. Just going with the levels, that is. Not trying to guess. It's above it. And Irina had asked about to go look into that one in details on Bitcoin. And this one has me scratching my head. The only thing is at the end of the day, if you look at it, if you look at this, where we stand on a weekly, we can bring up a weekly chart, but I mean, the range of the week, let's pull this up on a weekly. You see how we had this positive close? I mean, obviously here. So looking at it on a weekly, think of it this way. If you were long your dollar, and you really think we can still go higher, I'm just saying this example, then you'd say, well, until they take me out, and let's say you say, well, of course, ECB, who knows what's going to happen? So I'm going to give it some room. But you say, as long as we're holding, and this might even be a little bit too tight, but I'm saying you can say, well, as long as we're holding 120 on a closing basis on a daily, I'll just still stay long. And even then you could have said, like, just go with these highs right here. You see that? Just be on the safe side. You go, as long as it's above 1992, I think that even then is a little bit close. I would go with these highs right here. So someone was long. They said, you see right there? See this high and this high? See how they coincide right there? So you go, look, as long as it's above 1990 on a closing basis, I'm still staying long. Now, on a closing basis, on a daily closing basis, like let's say yesterday, yeah, S&P's, I told you about that 41.43. It just got up to 41, but that's a little few minutes ago, to 41.41. It looks like 41.41 and a half, or now we're at 41.37. But I don't want to mess around with this thing in the middle of wait till the U.S. session. But anyway, that being said, so as long as on a closing basis, as long as we stay above, okay, that's that close right there. 1988. As long as we're there on a closing basis, I'll still stay long. That's what I'm thinking is the take there, and why we're still staying. So for those that are long, there's no need for them to get out. Matter of fact, even if for them some that might be even a little bit more, I want to say reserve, but whatever will be a better word. As long as it's above 120, I'll keep my longs, and so that's how it's playing out, and it's pushing out. And then if you look at the week, so anybody that's bearish is like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding. Well, I'm going to have to go and cover if it gets much higher than blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the things is if you're bearish, you're certainly not going to you're not going to like this if you're bearish and you're still bearish. You're not going to like that at all. I mean, on a weekly, matter of fact, if it closes above 2026, that's not good if you're bearish. So that's what I'm saying. And you know how the 50 pips likes to say the Friday flows, which is essentially what's been the overall direction for the week. Now this one has been, it's been kind of herky-jerky. So it looked like, okay, we've got a top end. Only thing we had this small hammer. Oh, wait a minute, look, post-ECB, they even tried to come up here and they failed up in here and they even closed negative. But look where it's at right now. So like I said, technically speaking, as long as it stays above, some were playing it, I wouldn't say cautious, but if they were saying, I'm long from down here and I just want to just still stay long, it's proving me right. I'm one of those people, I'm not, one of those people that just doesn't get out until the market pulls back far enough. Well, even if you're even being, if you want to call it prudent or whatever, even right here at 1988/1990, that's still being pretty tight. Well, then you'd still be bullish. You see what I'm saying? And realistically, you probably wouldn't get out until you definitely took this out, 1963. If you look at that thing's nowhere close. And if you look at it all during this week, even with yesterday's pullback, we still didn't close below 120. So as long as it's holding that, as long as it's still holding above, I'll stay long. What some people that would hold a little bit longer term would think. So you can see what their rationale or what they're thinking. Wow, if you look at it that way, that makes sense. If you look at Bill or Susie or whoever, they're bearish like, what the heck? I thought we'd be under 120 by now. This is crazy. This is stupid. What if this thing moves higher? I might have to just get out of this thing, and that's going to provide some support. And it goes along with, like I said, the reference to Friday flows. Anyway, that's a take there. I really wanted to go on and asked to spend a little bit of time, so I thought I'd give you my thought or 2 cents. But anyway, let's go move into the cable. Hope that makes some sense. Doggone it, where's the, oh, here it is. Okay, so cable posted a solid drop-off on Thursday, taking out 38.53. You can see that on the close. Resistance for Friday will be 38.90. It looks like the high was not too far from there. With support at 38.06. There we go. Let's go into the Aussie dollar. So So they also posted a bearish engulfing pattern on Thursday. You see that. Challenging 77 cents. We didn't close below it, but it challenged it. Support on Friday will be 76.74 with resistance at 77.48. Some of these things I'd like to go in and go with, like I said, well, I don't trade the futures, Bitcoin, but I'm saying is like some of these, look and say, oh, okay, I think maybe you could go here or there or wherever. I just don't hold. That's just not my time frame. And like I said, other than which I did trade a little bit earlier in the week, which is cable intraday, and also did trade euro intraday, but primarily, like I said, just look at stuff that day. Let's now go into the Japanese yen. This thing has just been unbelievable. It's not even moving now, it's just dead. The dollar yen was once again flat for the session. Talking about Thursday, because we do the analysis the day before or during the Asian session. Sometimes I do it like super early. Sometimes I would do it super early, and then sometimes do it right during the Asian session. The dollar yen was once again flat for the session. Support remains 779. Well, not too far away from that. Oh, we may have hit it. With resistance at 838. That's essentially the same analysis we had from yesterday. So should be there. Let's take a look. Okay. Now off by one handle. Mox next. 778, 838. Let's now go move into the dollar index. I mean, this thing's pitiful. I mean, with all the shenanigans from yesterday, look and said it's even negative to boot. I mean, we've barely closed positive, and I didn't even want to give it that much as far as the up and down. I'm sorry, the up, but I thought, okay, from a technical standpoint, I'll give it where it can push a little bit higher, because I'm thinking, well, it could even move up to the 50, and that wouldn't take it out. Resistance would be here, truly. Not that I believe it was going to rally up big time, but I thought, okay, if it trades to the 50s, that's really going to be resistance, but we can push a little bit harder. It still doesn't change anything. It still would be bearish. We'd have to get above, in this case, 67 to be bullish, and that's why it's here at 67. Not that I really thought it was necessarily making a fail, although maybe I thought, well, they'll finally fade the yield a little bit, but apparently not. So the DXY hardly showed much of a positive move despite U.S. equities quick slide. Resistance on Friday will be 91.67 with support at 90.98. So let's go there. And let's go to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin closed sub 52,000 on its way to interim target of 47,900. I think it's 47,800, not 900. But anyway, that's what. But like I said, 100 is not going to make any difference. Support on Friday will be 48,714 with resistance at 53K. Well, we did get to our interim target, so let's go into the other screen to kind of figure out where we think it might go to. Although we already hit our target, so in a mirror later on wants to see Platinum and Palladium. We'll get to that. Hang on one moment. So let's go to the other screen. And we're here. See, we've already reached this. So to say, oh, might push a few more dollars more we're there. You see what I'm saying? Uh, and that was my level that I had since Monday. And I said, well, you would take it out a little bit. And that's how I came up with 47,800, 47,900, whatever you want to call it. But that's what I was looking at. So really, it's not anything. It's the same way here that I just kind of projected up to 64,775. We've already hit the interim target. So can we shoot a little bit more? If you're looking here, I would just go with a couple of stabs here. There's that low right there, which is 46,920. I mean, most of the damage has already been done. So here's one low here. You see right there, that bar right here? And that low is 46,985. You see that? 40, there we go. 46,985. We already hit our interim target, so it sounds crazy to go a little bit further, but that would be it. But I'm going to stick with what I had for that interim target. I don't like to just match stuff. Okay, well now here's a new low. Unless we're seeing something dramatic. Well, this is dramatic. We hit our target, so I'm sticking with that. Although we can get down to 46,985, so I just go with what I had, 47,800, which is what it should be. I did have both 900, but I meant at the end of the week we had 800, 47,800. Resistance. For today is going to be this bar right here. You see the close? That would be 49,612. So actually, this would be where the high part, 52,069. Let's take a look at a 4-hour chart and see if we see anything different. Or for the okay, right there, that's pretty good right there. You see here? See the low here, and then the high here, right there, 50,402. Okay, now let's go to the spoons. Now, we'll see what we put for note. So the spruce saw a solid sell-off on Friday, which I meant to say Thursday. Holy smokes! On Thursday, which will need to move lower to find value. Support on Friday will be 41.18, followed by 41.06. Resistance will be 41.44. You can see it went too far off. Talked about 41.43 earlier. Followed by 41.56. Actually, from here, we'd be looking at 41.52, but that only be eight handles higher. So this is where this remember on Wednesday, this was a big deal. Well, it broke out earlier, 41.56. So the levels above you'd be looking at, other than this 44, look at 48 and 56. 56 would be huge. If we got above 56, wow, that would be huge. Get above it and hold. Why I'm not trying to just rush in right now. So that's where we stand. I think overall, though, this market will have to go lower to find value next week. I don't know if it happens today. You'd think they'd be under more pressure, but still pretty good sell-off. I think you have to let this market prove itself because it's Friday. So as long as it's still holding up during the week. Now, if we see the market, see right here, it's still mixed bagging it in this area. Right in here, it's like anything can happen here. The real dogfight is going to take place closer to 41.50. That's where the real dogfight is. Anywhere between 48 and 56. That's where the true dogfight is going to be, and that's where I want to wait. I'll wait and see we get there because we're holding up pretty well overall. But after a big shakeout like that, I think that would have spooked some people. But once again, just like we compared to your dollar, if some people were not spooked out of their positions, and those with the bigger hands say, well, as long as it doesn't take this out, then I'll still stay long. Doesn't mean I don't think we're coming all the way back here, but it could end up holding people hostage, and then maybe we hang around here next week before we rotate lower. But the key thing is going to be the challenge between 41.48 to 41.56. That's what I think will be the key zone. Anyway, over to here. And we're going to put it like this. I did put 44, but we're just about there anyway. But it is 41.44. Let's just go. Stay with what I had, which is 44. But like rungs on the ladder, it's going to be the reason that made a big difference. If you look here, and this is the opening ranges I have, all these dotted ones. And you can see where the market will come down here and visit these opening ranges, and even after the opening range from a few days ago. So let's go in and that's where the wheels came off. Man, they trapped a lot of people because we got about 41.67, and it looked like blue skies are ahead. So you can see here, 41.43. That's how I came up with that number. That's 50%. And if you look at it, that's actually from yesterday's cash open. That's the VWAP. We are above the electronic session VWAP, but that'll find some pretty good. I was thinking in Asia, if it gets up there, I'd like to sell it. If it just even happened in Asia or Europe, but it didn't, and we didn't come too far away from it. But I really wouldn't. I would like to see this thing get up in here. 41.50 Z, 61%. But this is where to me, I think, is the real dogfight's going to take place, right there. We can always look at the profile. I'm just saying I can always share stuff from the profile where we could possibly go to. That'd be different though. Take a look at Nasdaq. See, yesterday was a pretty good. That's why I like the S&Ps. This was a good marker right here, and I marked this. I said it held 41.06. That was key because 41.06 was key right here. So you see how we never made it down to 41.06. I thought, wow, that's really bullish, and the market really took off, which is crazy on Nasdaq. It flies through there, and made it look like it was still bearish at the time. You see right here on this move here, and that you just get a better. I wouldn't say easier, but you just get a clear read with S&Ps as opposed to Nasdaq, which is. Look at this. You get these overshoots. Problem is that some of these overshoots, if you do come in or whatever, usually you find yourself quickly underwater, and then you have to sit there and wait. And then you're looking at S&Ps, and S&Ps are just trading just perfect. Like, what the heck am I doing in this stupid thing? So that's what it was yesterday. Like I said, I'm thinking yesterday was a solidifier at that point. Then when I picked this thing up as it broke lower, and I think I shared that. I did share in the chat saying, I think I said support is, what I said, 13,709. I think I remember saying that. I think I said 709 if I remember correctly. Anyway, we broke lower. How low did we get? No, that wasn't the one then, because I was underwater like about 25 handles or something like that before this came back. I'm not sure what right here where I was. I came in. I did get out. I got out on the bounce, and we actually saw a little bit better bounce, but not a whole much more from where I got out. But and I'm thinking this is stupid. The S&P is just trading like a champ with these perfect rotations, and here I am in this Las Vegas casino index. But anyway, that being said, support. See how these rotations are so nice in the S&Ps. This crazy market. We'll go with support is going to be 13.7 right there. 13.732. We'll go with that. See, like yesterday when on the sell-off, you just knew. I wouldn't say it was that easy. You just knew you had to be short. But I'm saying that's like, oh, that's easy to say when it was just falling. No, but as it was taking out certain levels, remember we talked yesterday. We said if it gets above 41.31, then it's going to make a run for 41.38. Well, when you start breaking 41.38, you're like, well, I got to be short. This crazy Nasdaq, when it breaks, that's what I'm saying. You're getting whipped all around. You're like, all right, I just shorted it there, and all of a sudden, and you're like, oh no, did I just sell the low? And then we start to rotate low, and you're like, okay, well, I'm back to almost black. Well, I am black. Well, how much further thing is this going to push down then? How much? Where is it with the S&Ps? You just see the rotations. They just go from, as I said, like rungs on a ladder. I've heard other people say, it just goes from one rung to the next rung. But anyway, that being said, resistance on this thing is going to be, let's go with this bar. You see that bar right here, that low? We'll go with that, 13.821. Problem is like I said, it overshoots on both sides. And the thing is, when you're like, well, then just wait. But you'll get the overshoot, and it'll quickly start to swing back. You're like, whoa, I just missed it then. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, unless you're just sitting there getting ready to click, and even then you're thinking, okay, it overshot it. So is it overshooting just because it overshot it, or is it overshooting because we're just going to move to this next level? Because once again, these overshoots, if you're looking at a level, you're thinking, well, that may have enough to take it to that next zone. Where, like I said, Kate, keep harping on it, but the rotations are so clean in the S&P. Doesn't mean it's easy money. I'm just saying you can see it more clear. Plus, I like the thought of trading maybe like another market, like the way gold's been trading. Haven't traded gold in a while, but I have thought about trading it this since last week. Whereas you're just not like, okay, Nasdaq SPOOs. You can just be focused on the SPOOs, let the Nasdaq do its own thing. Maybe you look at the euro or cable or gold. Anyway, enough of that stuff. So let's go move into gold. Over here, yakking. Let's see what gold says. Gold has really been something else. This thing really held up like a champ. So gold posted a bearish dark cloud cover on Thursday. Support on Friday will be 1766 with resistance at 1795. So let's take a look at gold. And there we are. This has really held up well. I think if it wouldn't have been for the shenanigans yesterday, we probably would have seen 1803. Didn't quite get there. But we've had some pretty good movements in gold this past week and even last week. So we said 1766. 1795. And lastly with crude. Remember, we got to get to palladium and platinum. Crude moved higher on Thursday, partially recovering from the prior 2 days. Resistance will be 62.20 with support at 61.26. Hey, not bad. Look at that. The high was 62.12. I got 62.20. Oh, well, actually, in Asia, it was already like up there, so I can't take credit for that. Gotta be honest. But that would have been my area there because I already had that level in place. So, Well, we were pretty close to that in Asia, so it's not like as if I caught a trend. But we did have, remember, we had 64.24 and the high was 64.37. Although, like I said, we're just moving each day. It's not like we're making targets, although the Bitcoin was a target. We just look at the day ahead and like, where can it go to? So support is going to be 61.26. And 62.20. And there's the bias chart. We do need to look at Palladium Platinum. We're going to get to that for Amira. And I'll copy this and send this out. Let's get to Platinum Palladium. Okay, so if we go to Platinum, we're just holding here. Look how yesterday's was. But you know what? You got to give it its due, despite all the shenanigans. It's held its own. Not that it's necessarily impacted by those, but it's holding up pretty well. And even right now, if you're playing it real tight, you just don't want to. Your stops would be, if you're playing it tight, your stops would be right there, 1,200. If you're playing it tight, to say, and it shouldn't get below 1,200. You know, anyone who's long will going into the end of the week is like, look, I'll stay long as long as it holds above 1,200. And you might even have your stops. So you can think, well, they might just go for that on an even number, try and go for those stops. But I'm just saying is, if you're like, well, I want to give it a chance to go higher, but I certainly don't want it to rotate lower. Look how tight yesterday was. And this was after a solid close. Look, that was a bullish engulfing cloud. So we should not be going below this 1,200. If it is, then you might say, wow, I don't want to rotate lower and give up those gains. So the pressure would be on the bears, so we can still push higher. Let's look at Palladium. Well, we did reach that 161%, and we saw this pull down. So this is not unusual for this to pull back. But you wanted to hold above the 127% extension, which would be 28.11. As long as we hold above it, it is doing that. So there we go. There it is. And thanks for joining us here in the European crossover webinar. And we will get the bias chart posted. And have a good day.